Life is not meant to be lived in the shadows of our own minds. But some of us, we turn that shadow into a storm. We overthink every word, every step, every decision, until we're no longer walking the path of life, we're sinking into the quicksand of our own thoughts. Why do overthinkers suffer so much? Let me tell you. Overthinking is like being locked in a room full of mirrors. You look around and all you see is yourself from every angle, your flaws, your fears, your doubts. And the more you look, the harder it is to find the door. What it feels like a warning, every mistake a prophecy. You think you're being careful, but you're not living, you're surviving. Think about the hours, the days wasted. How many of us sit at night replaying conversations, rewriting endings to things already done? We carry the weight of fear into rooms we haven't even entered yet. Overthinking doesn't just hold you back, it drags you down, it steals your time, your peace, your faith in yourself. But let me tell you something, no great thing in life was ever achieved by someone afraid to move. Fear is the enemy of faith. Overthinking wraps you in fear and whispers, don't take the risk. You'll fail. But hear me when I say this, failure is not your enemy. Failure is your teacher. The solution is not in controlling every outcome. Life doesn't work that way. It's in learning to trust the process. You don't need to see the whole staircase to take the first step. You just need to trust that step. And if you fall, so what? Falling means you tried. Overthinkers suffer because they don't give themselves permission to fall. But let me tell you, when you fall, you learn how to rise. Stop thinking of all the ways things could go wrong. Start thinking of the one way it could go right. Trust in your decisions. Trust in your strength. Trust that no matter what, you're going to make it. Because the moment you step forward, the storm quiets, the mirrors fade, and you finally see the door. Let's walk through it together. Overthinking is like planting a tiny seed of fear and then watering it endlessly. What starts as a small concern, something manageable, grows into a towering, overwhelming presence. It's not that the problem itself becomes bigger, it's the way the mind magnifies it, examining every angle, every potential outcome, and imagining the worst at every turn. Overthinking gives fear a stage, a spotlight, and an audience, turning it into something far more powerful than it deserves to be. Fear thrives on what ifs. What if I fail? What if I embarrass myself? What if everything goes wrong? These questions don't come with answers, only endless possibilities that feed anxiety. Overthinkers replay these scenarios in their heads, convincing themselves that every choice carries unbearable risks. The mind tricks them into believing they're preparing for the worst, but in reality, they're building a fortress for fear to live in. Instead of acting with courage, they get stuck in a loop, frozen by the belief that something catastrophic is just around the corner. Every decision feels heavier, every step more dangerous, all because overthinking has turned a simple question into an impossible challenge. Fear becomes amplified, not because the world is scarier, but because the mind refuses to let it be simple. When you overthink, time slips through your fingers like sand. You become trapped in a loop of endless deliberation, weighing every possibility, every outcome, until you find yourself paralyzed by indecision. What should have taken a few minutes to process stretches into hours, days, or even weeks. You lose precious moments of your life, consumed by thoughts that lead nowhere, leaving you with nothing but regret for the time wasted. The problem with overthinking is that it's a thief that doesn't just steal your attention, it steals your life. While you're caught in the mental spiral, you're not present in the now. You're not living, loving, or experiencing. You're missing out on the opportunities right in front of you. Focus instead on hypothetical situations that might never happen. You might plan every step, calculate every move, but you end up standing still watching life pass you by from the sidelines. In the end, it's not the decision that takes the time, it's the constant revisiting of the same thoughts that drain you. What could have been a spontaneous moment, a joyful experience, a bold leap forward becomes bogged down by overanalyzing, and in doing so, the moment is lost. Time is precious. And overthinking doesn't just delay progress, it robs you of the gift of now, of the ability to take action, to learn from experience, and to grow. Instead, you're left with only the echoes of what could have been. Overthinking doesn't just wear you down mentally, it takes an emotional toll as well. The constant barrage of thoughts, worries, and questions creates a relentless cycle that leaves you drained. Your mind is running on overdrive, processing every little detail, rehashing every conversation, and predicting every potential outcome. The emotional energy required to sustain this level of mental activity is enormous. It's like carrying a heavy burden without relief. Every thought is an added weight on your shoulders, slowly grinding away at your vitality. Emotionally, overthinkers feel like they're running on empty, even when there's no physical exhaustion. It's not just the quantity of thoughts, it's the intensity and the emotional charge behind them. You become emotionally invested in every scenario, every potential problem. Even when there's nothing to fear, the fear is there, created by your own mind. The constant stress of imagining negative outcomes, second-guessing decisions, and reliving past mistakes creates a cycle of anxiety and self-doubt. This emotional exhaustion leads to a sense of helplessness. It feels like no matter how much you try to quiet your mind, the thoughts keep coming. The energy you once had to give, whether to your work, relationships, or passion, starts to fade away. Overthinking doesn't leave room for joy, creativity, or connection because there's no emotional bandwidth left. You're drained by the mental battles you fight every day, leaving you feeling disconnected from the present and distant from the things that matter most. The mental noise has consumed all your emotional resources, and all that's left is an overwhelming sense of fatigue. By overthinking, you create a barrier between yourself and life. Instead of being fully present, you're stuck in a mental fog, missing out on the beauty that exists in the here and now. It's like watching a movie through a window, unable to feel the full experience because you're distanced from it. Whether it's a quiet moment of reflection or a lively gathering with friends, overthinking prevents you from truly absorbing what's happening. You're not living in the moment, you're simply watching it pass you by. The truth is, life doesn't wait for you to be ready or for the perfect plan to fall into place. The present is fleeting, and once it's gone, it's gone. Overthinking not only steals your peace, but it steals your time. And the more time you spend in your head, worrying about the past or the future, the more you miss the very things that make life worth living. Breaking the cycle of overthinking isn't about finding a quick fix or hoping that it will just magically stop. It's about recognizing that the mind is a tool, not a master, and taking the conscious decision to reclaim control. The cycle begins when you allow the thoughts to spiral, when you entertain every possibility and let doubt take root. It's easy to get caught in a whirlwind, but the moment you decide to step out of that storm, you break the cycle. The first step is awareness. You need to recognize that overthinking is not a natural state of being, it's a habit, one that can be unlearned. Every time you catch yourself spiraling, stop and acknowledge what's happening. That's when you begin to take back the power that overthinking has stolen. It's easy to let your mind wander, to let every what if consume you, but the key is interrupting that thought process with an action, however small it may be. Shifting your focus away from the problem and towards something tangible, whether it's taking a deep breath, going for a walk, or simply deciding to let go of the outcome, breaks the grip that overthinking has on you. It's also important to shift your mindset from one of control to one of trust. Overthinkers often suffer because they feel the need to control everything, from their decisions to the way people perceive them. But life isn't meant to be controlled. It's meant to be experienced. Trust in the process. Trust that even if things don't go perfectly, you will be okay. Trust that not every outcome can be predicted, and that's okay. Learning to let go of the need for certainty is one of the most powerful ways to break free from the grip of overthinking. Equally, you need to be kind to yourself in the process. Overthinkers often beat themselves up for their inability to stop the cycle, but it's important to recognize that change takes time. Every step forward is progress. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to solve every problem before moving on. The key is to embrace the discomfort of uncertainty and take action anyway. It's in the action, the moving forward, that you begin to free yourself from the prison of overthinking. Finally, it's crucial to surround yourself with positive influences, people, activities, or environments that encourage action and growth, rather than introspection and rumination. Engage in things that make you feel alive, things that pull you out of your head and into your heart. When you do, overthinking will lose its power, because you'll be focused on creating and living rather than worrying about every possible mistake or misstep. Breaking the cycle is not a one-time thing, it's a practice, a daily commitment to trust yourself, to act, and to embrace life as it comes, without needing to analyze every moment to death. And with each small victory, you'll find that the grip of overthinking begins to loosen, until you're free to live with intention, clarity, and peace. Overthinking is a trap, a mental prison that holds us back from living the lives we're meant to lead. It steals our time, our peace, and our trust in ourselves. It magnifies fear, distorts reality, and leaves us emotionally drained, unable to truly embrace the present. But it doesn't have to be this way. Breaking free from the cycle of overthinking requires awareness, action, and trust in the process. It's about recognizing that not every decision needs to be perfect. Not every outcome can be controlled. And that sometimes the best thing you can do is simply take a step forward, despite the fear and uncertainty. You are stronger than your thoughts. You have the power to choose to stop overanalyzing and start living with intention. Every moment is a gift, and if you want to experience the beauty of life, you have to be present for it. Trust yourself, trust the process, and trust that even in the uncertainty, you are enough. Life will never be free from challenges, but it is through the challenges that you grow. So stop waiting for the perfect moment, take the one you have now. Break the cycle and live your life with clarity, purpose, and the courage to move forward, one step at a time.